the co-founders of the newly launched and seen networks for LGBTQIAPOC streaming entertainment. You can listen to him rant weekly on his podcast and shit. Ladies and gentlemen, Quincy LeNear.
I like the way you say and shit.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me back.
Yeah.
This is awesome. This is incredible. All right, so I'll begin. I am Mr. Potato Head. And no, not because of the oblong shape of my cerebellum, which may resemble a horizontal potato, but because for my whole life, I have struggled with identity. Or so I had been led to believe. So once potato time, I looked into the mirror and I didn't see a face. Not like there was no reflection at all, as if I was soulless, even though for years I dreamed of becoming a vampire, but that's another medically treatable pathology completely. The face I saw in the mirror was one that I couldn't place. I didn't know where it belonged. To understand why this is my issue, you must first understand mi familia. My family looked like the United Colors of Benetton. Like the international terminal at LAX, including the TSA. Like the whole cast of How to Get Away with Murder. No one quite knew what to make of us. Now, make no mistake, I was never the classic tragic mulatto caught between two worlds, no imitation of life or the human stain, hiding in the cover of fair-skinnedness, or pretending that my mother was just the help. I was firmly planted in my blackness from birth. See, I grew up in a predominantly African-American community until I was 13. We sang the Black National Anthem every morning after the Pledge of Allegiance. We had to learn the speeches of Dr. Martin Luther King right along with the Gettysburg Address. Clearly an example of the double consciousness that we were raised to inhabit in this country. In it, but not quite of it. So I kind of always understood that I was black, as best as I understood that to mean at 10, but my household was unique and I was oblivious to that. That is until one day in 5th grade when we were given a family tree assignment. You know, the ones when they pass out the poster boards, the construction paper, the dull-ass plastic scissors that leave calluses on your knuckles, and the sweet paste in the jar that tasted like it would have been better on bread. We were instructed to go home and to paste pictures of our families on the tree branches. It's a simple exercise, right? I went home and I raided my grandmother's photo albums. I pasted and I tasted and I pasted away. And then the following day when I arrived at school, I was so proud of my poster because it was just full of generations of my family. And that's when it happened. When the face that I thought was mine, the one I had never questioned before, was taken apart. A couple of the kids came over to my desk to check out my poster, and the first thing they asked was, "Ooh, who are these white people? Why everybody so different?" I mean, I had never asked myself that question before. It had never even dawned on me to. Well, that's my grandma, and that's my granddaddy, and that's my... And then the questions begin to pour in, and eventually the curiosity spread across the class like a Fox News story. And that curiosity became confusion, because how could you be one of us if your family isn't? Your family's a box of crayons. Your family's a box of crayons. That day, I went home, and for the first time in my young life, I looked at everyone differently. It was as if the skin had been peeled back till the white meat show. I looked at my grandma and her peachy skin, her tiny little nose and her straight hair. And I looked at my mother and her peach skin and her Asian-like eyes. Then at my grandpa with his white skin and his blue-gray eyes. And at my great-grandma with her olive skin and her long black hair and native face. Then I looked at my dad and my granddad with their brown and dark brown skin and their coarse hair. And then when I looked in the mirror, I didn't know where my face belonged anymore. Did this nose belong here? Are these lips matching these eyes? Does this hair belong with this skin? It was as if my blackness had been disembodied. I was having an out-of-black experience. Wasn't made any better by my bittersweet weekend visits to my father's family where the whole household was cohesively brown. There I was called the little rich white boy. Here comes the little rich white boy, that's my little white nephew. Once my dad took my older brother and I on a company trip to an amusement park. See, my older brother, is dark-skinned, like a dark roasted coffee, no cream. And together we look like Himalayan salt and pepper. So when my dad went to introduce me to one of his female co-workers, she paused, she rolled her neck, and she asked, incredulously, "That's your son? Is his mama white?" That question stung, like ripping the Band-Aid off of a sore that had never healed, making me self-conscious of the body that I inhabited once again. It seemed to always be made clear that there was something hidden menu about me. Maybe that's where I belong. Amongst the border towns of race, somewhere amongst the folks with phenotypes who defied their assumed genotypes. So I quickly learned that with just a little change of costume, a simple alteration to my hair, be it short, long, straightened, or curly, a twist of accent, that I could be a chameleon of sorts, limited, to, of course, to people of beige to caramel apple and shades in between. My superpower was that I could be ethnically adjacent. I thought, that can't be a bad thing, can it? So, I tried to kick it with the white kids. I thought, hey, my grandpa's white, so, well, at least we have that much in common. Talk about being the object of wondrous and strange curiosities. I might as well have just walked around with an afro, a slice of watermelon, a bucket of fried chicken, a 40-ounce of gat and scream, "Break yourself, man!" Then I thought, maybe I'd find the kinship amongst the Middle Eastern guys at the corner stores. They usually thought I was a kid from Yemen. Yeah, brother, yeah, welcome, brother. Assalamu alaikum, brother. But as soon as they recognized that I was not their kin, they wouldn't stop following me around the store. I turn left, they're behind me. I turn right, they're behind me. Yo, Hakeem, back the fuck up. I got money, okay? And then one day, this Puerto Rican pizza delivery guy, he told me just how much I looked like his son. And then my uncle's new wife from San Juan, she came to visit and she swore up and down that I looked like Hector Camacho Jr. "You're not black," she said. "You look like Hector Camacho Jr." So I sought out the Puerto Rican kids. I thought, yeah, I can do this. Just call me Papi Chulo, you know? Yo mami, yo mami, yo mami, yo! But hey, no habla español. I thought this adolescent period of identity crisis in my life will pass over, and that I would settle firmly back into my own skin and into my body, and then I moved to Los Angeles to be an actor, where even the most secure of people can be shaken up like a snow globe on the ass of a twerker. So while interviewing for representation with Endeavor, the agent, he looked at me and he asked, "What are you?" Black? Yeah, I know that, but that there's something else. Yes? Well, I need you to make a decision. I didn't know that there was a decision to be made. It's just that you're so well spoken. And I have a difficult time selling actors who don't fit. I understand. Thank you. So I signed with Abrams Artists instead. It was like I was Goldilocks laying in multiple beds looking for the one that was most comfortable, but instead I got screwed in all of them. And I no longer wanted to be eroticized and made exotic. Not black enough, not white enough, not native enough, too light, too dark, too curly, too nappy, not hood enough, not suburban enough, too proper, not nasal enough, not this, not that, profiled by the cops and questioned at the cookout. Discriminated against and considered a sellout. Disenfranchised and privileged. How could you be everything and nothing at all? Why was it so confusing? Why couldn't I find myself? Then one day I realized that it was never my problem to begin with. That I could always see my face. It was just obscured by others, people's expectations and opinions. I was Mr. Potato Head. A wonderfully, oddly formed, irregularly shaped, earthy, life-giving spud who wore many faces and costumes to be accepted. Because he was never allowed to just be a fucking potato. Thank you.